Welcome to Forthright. I am Sulani Madsen, bringing you an audio podcast of my recent newspaper column focusing on the Parents' Bill of Rights, passed as an initiative to the legislature from the people with signatures gathered in 2023, adopted by the legislature as law in 2024, and now working its way through the court system as Democrats in leadership prepare to roll back the provisions either by lawsuit or by legislative amendments in the next session in 2025. As published Thursday, June 27th, 2024, in the Spokesman Review, parents are the new special interest group. There are three simple principles behind the parents' rights movement, according to the author of The Parent Revolution. Don't keep secrets from parents, be transparent about spending, and be transparent about curriculum, Corey DeAngelis told the group at a Mountain States Policy Center reception on Monday in Spokane. These principles were at the heart of I-2081, the initiative to the legislature signed by over 450,000 voters and adopted in the last session. Known as the Parents' Bill of Rights, it outlines 15 common-sense areas affirming parents' rights to be involved in their children's education. It's part of a trend DeAngelis traced to the 2021 gubernatorial race in Virginia. When Glenn Youngkin beat Terry McAuliffe on the issue of supporting parents' rights, he, quote, made the GOP the parents' party, unquote, according to DeAngelis. In a movement balancing the clout of the teachers' union in state and national politics, DeAngelis said, now kids have a union of their own, their parents. Adopting the Parents' Bill of Rights legislatively is a political strategy for Democrats trying to have their cake in March and eat it for dessert in November. Democrats were faced with a dilemma when all 6 initiatives to the legislature from Let's Go Washington were certified with more than enough support from voters. At first, the legislative leadership stalled, not even allowing hearings in committees. Then they allowed adoption of the 3 with the most emotional appeal, those most likely to energize a get-out-the-vote campaign in November that might hurt progressive candidates. By proactively adopting the Parents' Bill of Rights in the legislature last March, instead of letting it go to the voters, Democrats running the agenda bought the right to amend it immediately. If the law had been adopted through the ballot box in November, there would have been a 2-year hands-off period before it could be changed. With the law set to go into effect, Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Reykdal issued a statement to school districts asking them to ignore all of it until clarified by the legislature, claiming conflicts with federal privacy laws. Quote, if a student does not feel safe coming out to their family and they turn to a trusted adult at their school for support, they have a right to receive that support without fear of being outed by their school, close quote, said Reykdal's news release. While Reykdal acknowledged the importance of involved parents in his statement, reaching out to involved parents as part of the circle of safe adults is not mentioned as an option. The emphasis is on secrecy from parents, all parents. Reykdal is up for election this year and may have been one of those elected officials hoping to avoid a high turnout among energized parents empowered by I-2081. His most likely opponent in November, David Olson, is a long-tenured school board member in Gig Harbor, committed to parental involvement in education and their children's lives. Quote, unless there is a restraining order or alleged abuse, every parent should have a right to their kids' medical records and counseling records, close quote, Olson said. Open quote. 13-year-olds do not have the mental capacity to be making decisions affecting the rest of their life, close quote. A lawsuit was filed in May by the ACLU on behalf of a small chorus of far-left progressive organizations seeking to set aside implementation of the entire Parents' Bill of Rights. Judge Michael Scott in the King County Superior Court recently granted a temporary injunction to block the parts of the law granting parents access to mental health counseling and medical records for their minor children, regardless of the quality of their parenting. Good parents now paying attention may trigger a larger debate over Washington's mature minor statute, where a 17-year-old needs a parent's permission for a tattoo, but the school can hide treatment for major depression and self-harm. The inconsistencies are just plain weird and contribute to driving a wedge between parents and children. In the understandable interest of being a safe haven for the small group of kids with truly dangerous parents, school policies have increasingly treated all parents as if they are under suspicion, guilty of not having their kids' best interests at heart. The progressive policy focus on treating all parents like outsiders to their children's education is the driving force behind the parent revolution. DeAngelis described the way back to the center as bipartisanship through hyperpartisanship. Quote, if a party leans into an issue and it becomes politically disastrous to oppose it, there is more of an incentive for the other party to move to the center, DeAngelis said. For parents, that may mean turning out in November to start a movement back to the center. For Olson, he hopes for a trifecta in the offices of governor, attorney general, and a superintendent of public instruction, and we'd start to see some real change in public education. Since publication of that column, I've heard from a number of people who find the lawsuit difficult to understand. Many who haven't had teenagers in the house for a generation find the idea that 13-year-olds can make their own healthcare decisions ludicrous. Many 13-year-olds can't even get to school or find their homework or manage their own appointments without trusted adult supervision, sometimes known as nagging, by their parents. I haven't run the numbers, but it would be interesting to determine the percentage of parents who are dangerous to their children and compare it to the percentage of teachers, coaches, and other supposedly trusted adults at the school to see which group rates worse. And it's sad to even have to ask that question. Parents don't appreciate being treated as guilty until proven innocent, especially when they're institutionally cut out of the loop. Good teachers don't want to be secret keepers. They understand the value of involved parents in student success. Data backs up the essential role of parents in better life outcomes, and schools should be asking for every single policy, how does this reinforce the parent-child relationship? And that's why the Parents' Bill of Rights attracted such broad and bipartisan support from voters in the initiative-derived process, and why those same voters are now a new special interest group. As always, reference links are included on the Substack post to this week's background reading, and you are invited to subscribe for notifications of new content on a variety of regional topics with or without a pledge. Thank you for listening.